Listen, I've fulfilled everything, to be honest. If you look at all the material stuff outside of that, you've got your faith. Now, faith, especially in the last 18 months, 2 years, is something that has been a priority to me and something that I focus on. For me, your faith and your wife are two things that do not belong on social media. That's just me personally. My opinion. Now, I don't think it's a wrong thing. Just for me personally, in my position, I just feel like those are things that I prefer being private.
Okay, so by faith, are we talking about religion here?
Yes.
Okay, so obviously I know your religion, you're Muslim, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you because I have the mindset of your relationship with God is your relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started to speak about it as well on podcasts, and the amount of messages, especially after them giving Tate the Quran,
mm-hmm.
because it's not something I do with every single guest, but then I saw the impact that it has of, spreading the message of Islam. And I'm not saying you have to incorporate in all your pieces of content. I'm not saying you got to do this and preach it on a daily basis of faith, but I think even something as small as letting people know that a man of influence like yourself is a Muslim, and I'm not saying, no, I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, no one's ever perfect in the religion, but even if you're portraying that to your audience, I think is a beautiful thing because you don't realize the impact it can have.
Yeah.
And if you want to look at it in a faith perspective and a perspective of religion, God sees the efforts that you're doing to bring more people closer to God, which I've definitely felt in the past 18 months as well, 2 years or something like that, off the back of that Tate podcast. But I don't know, that's my perspective. I'm not saying you got to do that or anything like that. I'm not saying it's something.
By the way, I think that's also, it's two sides to the coin, and I think that's also an amazing perspective to have. And you can flip it on its head and say that, no, I'm actually doing worse by not speaking freely about my faith and my religion and my practices. And maybe there's a lot more people that I could aspire to do so because of it. Now, I speak openly, and I always tell people, I always say I'm friends with everyone except for atheists. And maybe a few other people, but for topic for another day. But point is, I've always pushed people to faith. Now, as to what faith, for me personally, that's not something I want to get into. And the other thing is, I don't talk about I talk about faith from a general holistic sense. I don't talk about the specifics. Like, I don't need to, I guess I just don't really feel the need to post every single day during Ramadan. I would rather just genuinely fucking live it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And I, once again, this isn't to bash the people that, do post about their religion. I guess for me, I just feel like I'm so imperfect that, and I know everyone is, but I just feel like I'm so imperfect that I would rather just leave my actions and me getting better between me and God. And I think the big thing is because of social media. Behind the scenes, I'm having a lot of conversations and I'm doing a lot to help and a lot of different things. Is just specifically speaking about it on social media. For me, I just feel like, and once again, maybe this is an immature thought, but I guess I just always feel very annoyed when, people try to judge you. And I'm like, judging another man in of itself is a sin.
Yeah.
And the only person that can judge me is God. And I guess that's why I'm just like, I would rather leave that stuff away from social media. And as I said, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Maybe in 5 years I realized, knucklehead, and no, I should have put out there. But for me, it's just, I get so many opinions. I have so many opinions from so many fucking people. To then have the opinions of, oh, you, blah, 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 this, that. And for me to sit here, just from my perspective, and be like, my friend, you're not in my position. Like, you can't, first of all, you don't really even know what the fuck's truly going on in my life. That's number one. Because the best things in my life, I keep private. That's number one. Number two, you have no right to judge because you have never been in this situation. And who knows what you would have done in this situation. You probably would have done it 100 times worse than I did. So I think maybe that's an immature perspective. I don't know.
No,
you could be right.
Yeah, it's not an immature perspective at all, bro, because you're right. People do love to get their two pets involved in every single situation online. If I post, I'll give you a great example, yeah? There was a picture that I posted on my Instagram with me and my friend praying. Just me and him. He was in front of me, he was behind me. The amount of people that had messaged me or comment on that picture saying, you're doing it wrong, all we're trying to do, bro, is just show that we're praying or something like that. Something simple.
Yeah.
But you get what we call the Haram police, you know, coming onto you left, right, center. And I can imagine for you, in your case, it's going to be a whole load of people, bro. So respects to you, bro, because regardless of what you do, I think if you do it in private, it's a beautiful thing. You don't have to share it online. I think people can gather from your name of where you're from, the religion you have, and your faith perspective as well. And I think a lot of what you stand for in general resonates with faith. So I think keep it private. If it works for you, bro.
For sure.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. But I'm glad to hear it because I don't know what it was like on the last time we done the podcast, but I'm glad to hear that in the last 18 months, you know, something we're working on. And you said you were participating in Ramadan as well? Sick. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah, mate. Alhamdulillah. But other than that, what else means the most to you? Because I'll give you an example. I wrote here in one of my notes, or the fact that you've been able to like buy your mum a house or something, you know, and provide her that life. Feelings like that, how does that compare?
You know, I'll tell you something that is so interesting, because I've had a lot of other friends that also had the dream to retire their parents, buy their parents their dream house and blah, blah, all this stuff. And I think really that was like the last thing. Like I retired my mom in, 2017 it started, but really 2018 was like nail in the coffin. But her dream house, like I wanted to buy that dream house, and that dream house, $4 million. And I don't have any debt in my life.
Where was this?
In London.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, I don't have any debt in my life. I don't have any loans, mortgages, but everything I own is full cash outright. And, you know, in 2018, like I couldn't afford to just drop $4 million cash on a house. So eventually when I did that 18 months ago or whatever it was, like that was a big thing for me to be like, oh wow, like that's it, I did this. Like and I thought this is the end of the fairy tale. The fairy tale ended up turning into a nightmare. And this is, I guess, what I want people to be aware of, that just because you retire your parents doesn't mean that they're going to be living their best life or they're going to be the most happy. So a lot of times when you take away someone's problems, they'll just create problems out of thin air. And you don't want people to be bored. And I thought, oh, you know what, like with my mom, I'll just retire and everything will be good, and I'll buy her a dream house and everything will be fine. That's brought about a new set of challenges. And by the way, everyone should aim to retire their parents and buy their, you know, pay off their mortgage. Like, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be prepared that when that happens, them as people are going to have a new set of challenges, which is like, wow, I have everything I want now.
What now?
Like what now?
Yeah.
And you know, it's gone to a point where me and my mom even joke, like we're genuinely thinking that she needs to get a job soon. And and for me, that hurts. Like it hurts to even think that my mom would have a job. And I don't think, to be honest, she's going to have a job. I think, you know, I'm going to help her start a business, and she's going to have a business.
But for them, it's just for something for them to do.
Just a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, like obviously for her growing up, the purpose was me. And at a certain point, I didn't, you know, need her to survive anymore. So her purpose in a sense was fulfilled. Of course, you know, being a mother is always something that you do for the rest of your life. But for it to be like a real intense every single day thing, that kind of stopped happening. So past few years, she's just kind of been trying to find her purpose and trying to find her way. So I guess all that to say that it was amazing. I just always really try to be upfront and honest with the audience of the things that you see that are the most amazing. Let me just at least give you the T's and C's. Let me at least just tell you behind the scenes, maybe some of the downsides that comes with it. So everyone should aspire to do that thing, but just be aware that it's not going to be a fairy tale when it happens. New problems will arise from it, and it's something you'll deal with and get past.
I'm interested to know, and I don't know if you want to answer this. Feel free to cut it out if you like. Obviously, I know the situation of your parents, you know, biological dad, stepdad. Since, I suppose, you're famous, bro. Have either of them ever attempted to reach out or anything like that?
My
Have you had a conversation with them?
Yeah, my biological father has, and I don't feel any, like, I'll be honest, I don't feel any hate in my heart. I don't feel any malice. It's not like, oh, fuck that guy, blah, blah, this, that. It's just genuinely, it simply comes down to, I don't feel like if you weren't there when things are difficult, you don't get to now benefit from things when now things are great all of a sudden. Like it's that I'm not like angry or blah, blah. It's just genuinely like, respectfully, you had your time, like you had your chance to be involved. And I don't even mean like at birth. I mean like even if you had tried 10 years ago, you know, like you really had your opportunity, you had your chance.
I mean, you're 24, bro. So there's time. There's been time.
I understand, but I'm saying you had your chance when I could trust wholeheartedly your intentions. I will never ever be able to trust that person's intentions because, 10 years ago when me and my mom were struggling and, I had nothing to offer my father, my biological father. I didn't get any fucking phone calls.
Yeah.
But
this is what I'm saying. Being that you're 24, there's previous years where you could have dropped by or something like that.
So, yeah, no, he has tried to contact, but.
No, fair enough, bro. Look, I want to round up this podcast by asking you this. In the beginning, I asked you what's your mission in life.
Okay.
Now, what's your goal in life? What's the message you want to leave for your audience?
The life is an incredible game. The fact that you get to wake up and play it every single day is an honor. There's going to be days which are worse than you could ever imagine. There's going to be days that are going to be better than you could ever imagine. And through it all, I guess, just one of the reasons I feel like I've done okay in life is because I've always been able to look myself in the mirror. In the same way I've discussed my business setbacks here, I've discussed my personal flaws as a person, the places where I could improve or I could be better, the successes I have in my life that look like successes, but really there's things behind the scenes that aren't as great about it. Like, I've just done okay in life because I can look myself in the mirror and just be very honest with myself as to where I am in life, why I'm feeling emotions, why I'm feeling a certain thing, why I'm acting in a certain way. So this game of life is a crazy one. The only thing that I would implore people to do is really spend as much time as you can sitting down with yourself. Like, turn off the music in the shower, turn off the music in the car, and sit with your thoughts. If you can, even better, journal, and really get an understanding of who you are and what you want in life. As I said, there's been clear seasons in my life where I've realized, okay, I'm coming into a new season now, and it's time to peel off this old skin that I had and step into this new season. As I said, I'm in one season of my life right now, and I can tell you right now, in 3-4 years, I'll definitely be in a different season, and you'll probably see a very different, when we do run this back again in 3 years, like we did 3 years previous, you'll probably see a very, very different version of me.
Well, I'm not just saying this, bro. I think this has probably been one of my favorite podcasts I do. I don't know why. It almost feels like a sense of emotion. I feel like it's because I'm very, very happy for you and where you've come in the past 3 years as well, especially, from the time of knowing you. I feel like just seeing your growth accelerate.
Bro, sorry to interrupt, but it's bro, us sitting here is a celebration in of itself. Yeah. I mean, fucking look at how far you've come in the last 3 years.
It's been all right.
No, bro, I understand. I respect you. You're very, very humble. I could probably learn a lot from you. but you're very, very humble. But at the end of the day, who you are today compared to who you are when we filmed that initial podcast, 3 years ago, is very, very different stories. So
yeah, I look back at that podcast and, bro, I can't lie, I was cringing at myself thinking, I don't know how you put up with me in that podcast. So
don't be silly.
Maybe I might think about the same thing in 3 years' time coming from this. But look, I want to thank you very, very much, because I know, A, you don't do podcasts in your house, but B, you don't do many podcasts at all, really. So the fact that this is the second one you've done with me, I can't thank you more than I can't even say the words, bro.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, I just want to say massive, massive thank you, bro. And hopefully we can run up again in 3 years' time. If people want to find you, where can they do so? I mean, they probably already follow you anyway. But if they don't, let's just say that one person under the rock.
Somewhere. I'll be somewhere online.
You'll be somewhere around. The links will be in the description. My links obviously all will be in the description. I need you lot to follow, subscribe. We're trying to provide value, trying to bring you the best podcast possible, just like the one you've seen today. So if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe. Until then, I'll catch you lot on the next episode of CEOCAST. Peace.